Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Independent Herald's live coverage from the town of Huntsville's annual Firemen's 4th Festival. We are on Court Street on the Mall in downtown Huntsville, where we are just minutes away from the start of tonight's annual 4th of July parade. This festival is in its second day. It got started last night with gospel singing from 6 to 9. It's been going on all day today. Got started bright and early this morning. Mayor Dennis Jeffers telling us just a minute ago that he got started at 5:30 this morning. The New River Run kicked off at 7 o'clock. They've been going all day long. Good crowd on the mall all day. There was some concern with the weather, but it's actually been beautiful today. And by beautiful, I mean it's hot. It's really hot. The heat index has been about 96 degrees here on the mall. But there's been no rain, and knock on wood, it looks like it's probably going to stay that way for the rest of tonight. There's going to be some thunderstorms later tonight. Hopefully we can get through this thing, though, and get the parade and the fireworks complete without getting wet. And it looks like we've got a pretty good chance of that. This is the Firemen's 4th Festival, and you're watching Independent Herald coverage. The parade gets started at 7 o'clock tonight. It will come by our location. We are near the intersection of Baker Highway and Court Street. It will make its way by us. It will circle the Courthouse Mall, go by the old jail, exit by Brimstone Recreation, and then continue along Baker Highway before disbanding at Rocky something loop. My mind went blank. I've got two kids talking to me behind me. But anyway, it's gonna disband in the Birds Curve area. If you're a native of Scott County and you know what Birds Curve is, so. Traffic alert, if you're in the Huntsville area tonight and you're watching this, maybe you're sitting in traffic right now and you're wondering what in the heck is going on. Well, now you know. Traffic will be stopped on Baker Highway. It's not stopped yet, but it will be shortly as the parade gets set to step off. Again, the parade at 7 o'clock tonight. Fireworks at 10 o'clock tonight. Let me tell you our sponsors who are helping to bring us live coverage tonight. Our sponsors include First National Bank, Twin K Enterprises, South Fork Physical Therapy, Danny's Drugs, Stand, El-Ray, McDonald's of Oneida, Scott County Mayor Jared Jeffers, Scott County Assessor of Property Tiffany Jeffers, Scott County Sheriff Brian Keaton, Scott County Trustee Renee Irwin, and Scott County Clerk Felicia Bilbrey. With that, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, continued coverage from the Firemen's 4th in downtown Huntsville.
I wanted to continue my education after high school, but my family and I didn't think we could afford it. Then I found out that Roane State has the options to make college possible. Now I'm pursuing my dreams and will make my family and community proud.
I'm Donna Tompkins, and I was a 4th grade teacher at Oneida Elementary. The mini grant started when I first started teaching, and First National Bank helped me to grow into the teacher that I was and became. It gave me extra money to buy the supplies I needed for my students. First National Bank is truly a community bank. It helps make things possible that may not be possible in our community.
Danny's Drugs has been dedicated to providing patients with quality healthcare services since 1966. From our beginnings as a fountain drugstore to our current location on the 4th Lane in Oneida, one thing has remained the same: exceptional service. Our staff of highly motivated and carefully trained professionals understand your needs and respond to them in a personal and friendly manner. Our staff works together as a team to provide the finest patient care available. That's Danny's Drugs, putting patients first since 1966.
El-Ray is Scott County's home for great Mexican flavor. Located in Oneida Plaza, we're just up the sidewalk from Walmart. From our fresh chips that are made daily to our chicken or beef fajitas that are big enough to share, El-Ray uses the freshest ingredients to serve authentic Mexican dishes that will be a hit with the entire family. Stop in before the game on Friday, or pop in on Saturday and watch college football on one of nearly a dozen screens while you eat. That's El-Ray Azteca, open until 9 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and 10 p.m. on weekends.
Welcome back to the Independent Herald's live coverage of the Firemen's 4th in downtown Huntsville. Let me say real quickly, we could have some connectivity issues, some lagging issues. That is something that we have occasionally run into in the past here on the mall for this 4th of July event. Unfortunately, it's something that you never know you're going to run into. until you run into it. We're out in the open air. We don't have Wi-Fi connectivity, so we're relying on cellular connectivity. And when all these folks start squeezing in on the mall and everybody's on their phone, sometimes that does create an issue. So we had some folks that stopped by and said we might be dealing with a little bit of lagging. So let me just say up front, if you're watching, if you are dealing with a little bit of lag, it's probably our fault, not yours. What we will do is when this event is over, we will get this footage uploaded to the internet as quickly as possible, and you will be able to go back and watch it uninterrupted at that point. With that said, we're going to now be joined by Huntsville Mayor Dennis Jeffers. We spoke to him moments ago about the Firemen's Fourth.
Welcome back to the Independent Herald's live coverage of the Firemen's Fourth Festival downtown Huntsville on the mall, joined by Huntsville Mayor Dennis Jeffers. And Mayor, thank you first of all for joining us. I know you're hot and tired. It's been a long day already, but fantastic crowd out here today.
So far, it's fixed to get really crowded. We're fixed to go line up for the parade. And you know as well as I do, that's when really the crowd comes in. Everybody's been swimming all day. We kicked this morning off with the New River Run, 5K, 10K road race, good turnout. Pancake breakfast, 7 o'clock, good turnout. We've been having roadblocks all day. Live entertainment started. Carnival's here, petting zoo's here. We've got good weather. It's a little warm.
Oh, it's a whole lot warm.
The beggars can't be choosers.
It's dry.
It's dry.
And looks like it's going to stay that way, knock on wood.
Yes.
And I want to talk, first of all, this is a fundraiser, first and foremost. It's a community festival, but it's a fundraiser. Folks are still streaming in here, and some folks might be watching this that are coming in that haven't gotten here yet. As you drive by the fire trucks on either end of town, either end of the downtown area, and they've got those boots there, what is the importance of putting money in that boot?
You know, I don't think that a lot of people understand the importance. The volunteer fire department, that's what Scott County lives on. All the fire departments in Scott County are volunteer. We're a little more blessed in Huntsville because we're kind of provided for by a municipality, although we're still volunteer. But if anybody second guesses the importance of volunteer fire department, the search that was just successful that found the older couple, a lot of our guys was involved in that, you know, and it's they've done that out of their own pocket, but still yet, this is our sole fundraiser. So the boot, the road race, pancake breakfast, everything that we do is geared toward raising money for the future of the year for the fire department in Huntsville. And we've been blessed enough we get to help a little bit with some of the other departments as well.
One thing that always strikes me at this festival is after it's over. You know, during the day, everybody's kind of streaming in slowly, but when it's over, there's a mass exodus. And as you head back north, you see all the taillights heading north, going back, not just to Oneida, but to Kentucky, and folks are heading south as well, back to Morgan County. This is a festival that truly pulls everybody in. Well, let's put it this way. The population of Huntsville is, what, around 2,500 people, thereabouts?
1,700.
Okay, so even smaller than that. You'll have over 10,000 people here in the mall area tonight.
Any given time, from this morning to tonight after the fireworks. We say 3 to 5. I'm thinking more like 7 to 10. Nobody's really had an accurate count. I will tell you, it will be full here in just a little bit, about dark 30.
So you've done this for a long time now, and you know firsthand. We all enjoy it. We get to come down here and show up at 7 o'clock for the parade, and we enjoy it. Folks don't realize, I've been involved in event planning, the work that goes into, first of all, the days and weeks leading up to this thing, but especially the day of. This is a lot of work to make this happen.
It is. And next year's will start, providing I win re-election in November. Next year's will start pretty quick within the next 2 or 3 weeks. We have a lot of sponsors that help us, though, that step in. We have Great Dane. We have Twin K, Trails End, Brimstone Recreation, JDS, Takahata Precision, Lee's Famous Recipe. The one thing that I realized when I first became mayor is all people needed was an opportunity to help, and they were willing. And that's what makes us a little different than everybody else. Although this is a fundraiser, this has become our countywide celebration for Independence Day. And I see people coming together. This is my 8th year overseeing this, and I've yet to see an altercation. There's nobody that's angry with anybody. There's no fisticuffs. There's no nothing like that I've saw. So I mean, it's a true good family atmosphere to come out, get some good food, listen to good music, look at a parade. We've got rides. It's just a good time to come and spend time with your family. Wish it was a little bit more overcast, but we would probably have rain if it weren't.
Probably so. All right, Mayor, if you're watching at home, this thing doesn't wrap up until late tonight, 11 o'clock after the fireworks is over. There'll still be things going on down here. So time to still come on out and join in the fun.
Absolutely. The parade will kick off at about 7. We're fixing to go line up. It's a little after 6. We'll get everything going. It'll kick off at 7. Parade will last an hour and a half. The route will be the same as it was last year. We'll go in the out. We'll come around and we'll go toward Hot Rock Church, and it will end at about Rocky Branch Loop, which is the old bird curve. And we've shortened it just a little bit because it is hot. But after that, we'll have some more entertainment. We'll let everybody settle in. And 10 o'clock or a little after, we'll have the biggest fireworks show we've ever had. The one thing that we did do this year is we bought some 6-inch shells. We've never shot these 6-inch shells before. There's some bigger stuff coming. So it's going to be trial, hopefully not error, but we're hoping that it turns out well. Our guys work hard at that. They've been packing them and loading them all day. Like you said, there's a lot of work goes into this, and it's a year-long thing.
All right, Mayor, we'll let you go get lined up for the parade. Thank you for joining us, and good luck tonight.
Thank you, Ben.
Sexual assault is a violent crime, punishable by law in the state of Tennessee. It includes rape, unwanted sexual touching, or any sexual contact or activity with someone who does not or cannot consent both legally and willingly. Sexual coercion is when one person makes it feel impossible or unsafe for another person to say no to sexual activity. If you can't say no, then you can't say yes. Threats to commit sexual assault are very serious. They can be reported. If you've experienced sexual violence, contact SAI's 24/7 Sexual Assault Helpline to speak with a confidential advocate. Call 423-539-6499. This project is funded under an agreement with the state of Tennessee.
Our live coverage from the Firemen's 4th continues as we are on Court Street on the Courthouse Mall, downtown Huntsville. The clip that you just saw, by the way, that was a brief overview of the services offered to survivors of sexual assault by Scott Appalachian Industries, which is one of our sponsors for today's Firemen's 4th coverage. And you'll see the folks at SAI, Anna Harness and her team rolling out similar videos on social media in the days and weeks ahead to try to educate the community on everything that the sexual assault response team at SAI is able to provide. So be sure to be on the lookout for those and to find them. Give them a follow on social media. You can simply search Sexual Assault Services at Scott Appalachian Industries on Facebook if you want to find their page. And our other sponsors tonight, First National Bank, Twin K Enterprises, South Fork Physical Therapy, Danny's Drugs, Stand, El Rey, McDonald's of Oneida, Scott County Mayor Jerry Jeffers, Scott County Assessor of Property Tiffany Jeffers, Scott County Sheriff Brian Keaton, Scott County Trustee Renee Irwin, and Scott County Clerk Felicia Bilberry. Now, I mentioned a minute ago that we may have some lagging going on, and I do think that is an issue. I apologize for that. That's something that we have dealt with in the past at times here on the mall. Not every year. We never know if we're going to be dealing with it until we get here, and it's just a matter of we're outside an open-air event, and so we don't have Wi-Fi connectivity, so we're relying on cellular connectivity, and wireless connections are hard to deal with sometimes, especially as everybody starts crowding in one area and everybody's on their phones and there's a lot of interference going on. And yeah, unfortunately, that's something that we're going to be apparently dealing with, at least during the parade tonight. Hopefully it will clear up. I apologize if it don't. If it doesn't, what we'll do is as soon as this parade is over, hopefully before the fireworks, we'll get the parade portion uploaded to the internet, to Facebook and to YouTube, and you'll be able to watch that without interruption. And then later on tonight, we'll get the fireworks portion uploaded as well. If we're not able to do that between the parade and the fireworks, then we'll upload the whole shebang after the fireworks are over later on tonight. And again, my apologies for that. I will, however, put the blame on AT&T. There, I'll say it, because you know what? We pay AT&T in the neighborhood of about $500 a month. Yeah, that seems like a lot of money. You shouldn't be dealing with issues when you're paying someone that much money to provide a service. But if our technical guru were here, and that would be Greg Bond, he's the technical guru for the IH Sports Network. Now, let me just point out, he is not involved in today's broadcast because it is a holiday, and he's busy doing holiday stuff, family stuff, and so I don't want to throw him under the bus. I just want to point out, Greg Bond has nothing to do with this, okay? So if it's lagging, not Greg's fault. But back to what I started to say before I started down that rabbit hole, if Greg were here, he would be saying, you know what, you can't put the blame entirely on AT&T because it's just a matter of cellular interference where you've got so many people on their devices crowded into a small area, and he wouldn't be wrong about that. So anyway, it is what it is. If you are experiencing lag, it is on our end, not your end. I do apologize for that. We are getting close to the parade making its way by our location. They stepped off just a few minutes ago from Baker Highway, just east of First Baptist Church of Huntsville. They are working their way along Baker Highway near Huntsville Elementary Middle School as we speak, and they'll be here at the mall momentarily. We'll take a break. When we come back, our coverage of the Firemen's 4th will continue from the mall in downtown Huntsville.
For nearly 20 years, South Fork Physical Therapy has been providing quality service to the people of Scott County. Our clinics strive to bring the most modern care in a professional setting, treating not only athletic injuries, but vertigo and balance deficits, back and neck pain, generalized weakness, cardiac rehab, and post-operative care. Over the years, it has been our pleasure to provide sideline care and injury screenings for the student athletes of our community. South Fork Physical Therapy is proud to support the Highlanders and the Indians.
If you vape, you could be inhaling toxic metals into your lungs. To show how scary that is, we made metal monsters. With special effects that show metal particles being inhaled. And music that would have made your heart race. But nothing is as scary as the facts. Vaping can deliver toxic metals like nickel and lead into your lungs. That's metal in your lungs.
Tail sleep.
When your job requires concrete, call Twin K Enterprises. We take pride in both residential and commercial projects. Our concrete is state certified and lab tested with proven high strength mixed results. We have certified facility operators and mix design technicians to be sure our customers get the best mix the first time, every time. Twin K has 6 concrete plants to serve the entire Highway 27 corridor from Georgia to Kentucky. Twin K, call 569-6341.
Are you looking for a career that makes a difference? Roane State Community College offers 2-year nursing and health sciences programs with a job placement rate over 90%. With campuses located in 9 East Tennessee counties, pursuing your passion has never been easier. From nursing to healthcare administration, we have the tools you need to succeed. Don't wait. Visit roanstate.edu today and start your journey towards a brighter future in healthcare.
Welcome back to the mall on downtown Huntsville, in downtown Huntsville. Independent Herald coverage of the Firemen's 4th Festival that is presented today and every year by the town of Huntsville and the Huntsville Fire Department. We're happy to be here, happy to have you here. There is a huge crowd that is on the mall, have been most of the day. And the parade route, well, if you can see it in front of our camera, which is aimed towards the intersection of Baker Highway and Court Street, not necessarily all that crowded right now. And let me tell you why that is, because it is extremely hot. We talked to Mayor Jeffers a little while ago, and he talked about the heat. But you know what? As he said, we'll take the heat because the heat means that it's sunny, and sunny means it's not raining. And we were worried about that this morning, but the weather has cooperated nicely with the exception of the heat, and it looks like we're going to get through this event without any rain. Hopefully, there are some thunderstorms beginning to fire off to the west of the Cumberland Plateau. It looks like those will hold off until we get through this event later on tonight, which will be about 10:35 to 10:40 or so. This thing will wrap up with the end of the fireworks show. Looks like we're going to get through this thing without any rain. But in the meantime, it is extremely hot, and that's why there are not many people that are lined up in the sun waiting on the parade yet. But they're working their way up off the mall. They're leaving the food vendors, they're leaving the games, the carnival that's here, the petting zoo, which is right behind our location, making their way over to the streets, curbside, to get ready for this parade because they are on their way, and they're just a little bit later maybe than what we anticipated. So what we will do is we'll take one more break, and then when we come back, we should be ready for the start of this parade here on the Courthouse Mall in downtown Huntsville.
I wanted to continue my education after high school, but my family and I didn't think we could afford it. Then I found out that Roane State has the options to make college possible. Now I'm pursuing my dreams and will make my family and community proud.
Donna Tompkins, and I was a fourth grade teacher at Oneida Elementary. The mini grant started when I first started teaching, and First National Bank helped me to grow into the teacher that I was and became. It gave me extra money to buy the supplies I needed for my students. First National Bank is truly a community bank. It helps make things possible that may not be possible in our community.
Danny's Drugs has been dedicated to providing patients with quality healthcare services since 1966. From our beginnings as a fountain drugstore to our current location on the 4th Lane in Oneida, one thing has remained the same: exceptional service. Our staff of highly motivated and carefully trained professionals understand your needs and respond to them in a personal and friendly manner. Our staff works together as a team to provide the finest patient care available. That's Danny's Drugs, putting patients first since 1966.
El Rey is Scott County's home for great Mexican flavor. Located in Oneida Plaza, we're just up the sidewalk from Walmart. From our fresh chips that are made daily to our chicken or beef fajitas that are big enough to share, El Rey uses the freshest ingredients to serve authentic Mexican dishes that will be a hit with the entire family. Stop in before the game on Friday, or pop in on Saturday and watch college football on one of nearly a dozen screens while you eat. That's El Rey Azteca, open until 9 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and 10 p.m. on weekends.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the Firemen's 4th in downtown Huntsville. And by we, I mean the Independent Herald. I'm Ben Garrett. Thank you for joining us. And we're just about set for the start of this parade. It is making its way by the Huntsville city offices as we speak, and it will be turning into the courthouse mall momentarily. We can hear the sirens. We can see the folks who are lined up on Baker Highway starting to anticipate the beginning of this annual parade. This is a parade that was held at morning for many, many years. 11 o'clock was the traditional start time. In 2020, the year of COVID, they changed this thing and they moved it to night. And that was a necessity in 2020 because of COVID. They needed to consolidate everything. They made the decision to shorten down this festival and try to fit it all into just a few hours in the evening rather than making it a day-long and a two-day event as had been the case in years past. Well, it worked out so good that they have left this parade at night. And I think I speak for just about everyone that is here on the mall today and that is here on the mall every year when I say how much we appreciate this parade being at night. As hot as it is, it's not nearly as hot as it would be if this parade were taking place at 11 a.m. because this parade is usually extremely scorching hot right in the middle of the day, and this gets it into the evening, and it also allows just enough time to have the parade, and then once the parade gets finished, you got an opportunity to get a funnel cake, to get a bowl of ice cream from B&B Ice Cream, something to eat, something to drink, and then get settled in and get ready for the fireworks, which begin at 10 p.m. And with that said, let me tell you, as you see the start of this parade led by the Boy Scout Troop 333 of Scott County come around the corner and enter the courthouse mall, we are dealing with some lag and some issues. I apologize for that. As I said already, that's out of our control. Unfortunately, we don't have Wi-Fi access here on the mall. We're relying on an AT&T connectivity signal that unfortunately is not coming through for us. Just as soon as we can, either after the parade or at the very latest after the fireworks tonight, we will get the video uploaded so that you will be able to watch this without any lag or any interruption. So if you are experiencing lag, it is not your fault, it's our fault. It's not on your end, it's on our end. Again, we apologize for that. We will get this video uploaded though just as soon as we can. And with that said, I'm going to talk less and let you, for the most part, just enjoy the sights and the surrounds of the sights and sounds of the Firemen's 4th Parade, beginning with Boy Scout Troop 333 from Scott County, and behind them, Scott County Sheriff Brian Keaton. One of our sponsors today, by the way, and we appreciate all of our sponsors who are bringing you this parade coverage on the Independent Herald. Town of Huntsville Mayor Dennis Jeffers behind Sheriff Keaton. You heard from Mayor Jeffers a little while ago. He's got his family with him. And behind Mayor Jeffers will be State Senator Ken Yeager, a Republican from Kingston, who represents Scott County and the 12th Judicial District, the 12th Senatorial District, I should say, in the State Senate. And behind Senator Yeager will be Captain Brett Bond, and then behind him, some other members of the Scott County Sheriff's Department. One thing you will see a lot of in this parade, besides emergency vehicles, you will obviously see a lot of those. You'll see a lot of pageant winners from the annual Firemen's 4th pageant that was held a little earlier this week or last week. We don't have the names of those, so just know they're going to come by. We won't be able to identify them. One person we can identify is this year's Grand Marshal, and that is former Scott County School Superintendent Jerry Willard Thompson, the Grand Marshal for this year's Firemen's 4th Parade. And behind the Grand Marshal, the Corbella Shrine Go-Kart Crew, another staple in this 4th of July parade. And as we get set for a little bit of a lull here, let me real quickly run down our list of sponsors one more time. You're seeing them on your screen in front of you, but they include Scott Appalachian Industries, First National Bank, Twin K Enterprises, South Fork Physical Therapy, Danny's Drugs, the Stand Coalition, El Rey, McDonald's of Oneida, Scott County Mayor Jared Jeffers, Scott County Assessor of Property Tiffany Jeffers, Scott County Sheriff Brian Keaton, Scott County Trustee Renee Irwin, and Scott County Clerk Felicia Bilberry. The first fire department that you will see in this parade, as is always the case, the guys up front, Huntsville Fire and Rescue. Huntsville Fire Department is the group responsible for putting on this parade and also responsible for the fireworks a little bit later on tonight, so they get the honor of being up front in the parade each and every year. You heard Mayor Jeffers say a little while ago how hard these folks work every single year to get ready for these fireworks. They have worked out in the heat all day long. If you think it's hot, imagine being over there on a muggy night in turnout gear and standing by in case something were to go wrong with those fireworks. It is a pressure-packed job. They do a great job every year, and we anticipate they're going to do a great job again tonight for what Mayor Jeffers said will be the largest fireworks display ever in the town of Huntsville. And coming up next will be the But God Army. This is the crew of Randy Burge. Everybody knows Randy. Everybody has seen Randy's signs. Everybody has a problem no one can fix but God. This is the But God Army, and it's being led by, as usual, Coach Fletcher, John Fletcher, his family, his wife Kate, his father-in-law, and the entire crew in their Army truck up front. And then behind them, you're going to see Trent Coffey from the Stand Coalition, another one of our sponsors. And then you're going to see Randy Burge come into your picture in just a moment, and a whole lot of folks who are going to symbolize that drug recovery is possible and is happening every single day in Scott County. And if you're wondering what's going on, you haven't lost us. We're probably lagging a little bit if you're watching the live version of this, but you haven't lost us. I'm taking a break. We've got a break in the parade. It's hot out here. I'm sweating. I'm literally drenched in sweat. So while I had a moment, I was going to stop and have me a drink. I've done that, and now they're coming by our location again. This is still the But God Army, and we'll see these folks coming along for several minutes here, as they always have in the neighborhood of 300 to 400 participants in this parade that are a part of the But God Army. We haven't gotten a total this year. Randy will post that on Facebook, I'm sure, a little bit later tonight. But without a doubt, there are hundreds, again, this year participating with the But God Army. Absolutely. Absolutely. Rick Chambers says, I'm not going to be famous. Well, we just made him famous, right? If you're on this video, you're famous. Scott County famous anyway, and that's the only famous that matters. If you're watching this, there is still plenty of time for you to make it out tonight. The festival does not end with this parade. In fact, it's just getting wound up good, and it's just going to start to get comfortable, at least a little bit comfortable. It's going to be muggy tonight, but the sun is going to go down, and the temperatures are going to become more tolerable, and there will be plenty of things going on here on the mall until the fireworks begin at 10 o'clock, and then even after the fireworks. So we've got several hours yet to go. There is a carnival for the kids. There is a petting zoo. There are all kinds of food vendors with any kind of festival food you can imagine. Homemade ice cream, snow cones, funnel cakes, you name it, they've got it, and probably several folks have got it here on the mall. All sorts of vendors. There are politicians, if that's your thing, and who doesn't like talking to politicians, right? There are politicians here on the mall, as is always the case in an election year. And just, I mean, the mall is absolutely jam-packed. So if you've got an opportunity to come out and be a part, please do so. As we continue to see the But God Army roll by our location. We are on Court Street on the east side of the Courthouse Mall in downtown Huntsville. This is the Independent Herald's coverage of the Firemen's 4th Festival. And again, as we get set for another little lull in this parade, let me tell you that if you're watching live, yes, we are aware that there are some glitches and some lagging going on. I've had a number of folks who have texted me and let me know that. I'm sure folks are commenting on the live stream about that as well. I'm sorry, we did not anticipate that was going to be an issue, but we knew it was a possibility, and it is. We're relying on an AT&T cellular connectivity here on the mall. We don't have access to Wi-Fi out here in the open air on the mall, and unfortunately, with all these people, there are probably 5,000 people on the mall right now, not to mention the folks who are on the streets here of downtown Huntsville around the mall, and it just didn't working out too well. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Last year, we used this exact same setup. We pulled it off without a hitch. This year, unfortunately, we saw from the very minute that we went live about 33 minutes ago that was not going to be the case. Once we get going live, there's not a whole lot that we can do about it, but what we can do is once this parade is over, we can get the unedited footage up on the internet, on Facebook and on YouTube just as quickly as possible, and we'll try to get Greg Bond to have it on cable TV again in the future as well. So if you're a Highland subscriber and you're watching that way, you will have access to this parade and be able to watch it without all the freezing and the lagging and all that annoying stuff going on. This is Helenwood Baptist Church. They're getting ready for their cowboy camp, which is coming up next week, July the 8th through the 12th. And that's not all of the But God Army, by the way. They're still streaming by our location and will continue for as far as the eye can see. This parade stepped off from First Baptist Church of Huntsville. It actually lines up on the highway just east of the First Baptist Church. The But God Army comes out of the the First Baptist Church parking lot. That's their staging area as they get set for the parade, and then everybody else lines up down the shoulder of the highway on the westbound shoulder of Baker Highway all the way back to the old Miller office building, and they head they head west on Baker Highway. They circle the mall and go around the old jail, and then they'll come out at Brimstone Recreation's offices. They will head west, continue west on Baker Highway until they get to Rocky Branch Loop. That's the name of the road that completely slipped my mind a moment ago. Rocky Branch Loop. That's by the Helenwood facility, the Highland Telephone facility, at Bird's Curve. That's what everybody who has lived in Scott County all their life know it as, the Bird's Curve area of Highway 63. That's where this parade will disband, just a little to the west of White Rock Baptist Church. So if you're in the downtown area and you happen to pull up Facebook and wondering what in the world's going on because traffic stopped, well, there you go. You're held up in parade stoppages, and you're going to be held up for just a little while. So sit back and enjoy it, and they'll get the road reopened probably in about another 30 minutes or so. This is still the But God Army of Randy Burge and his ministry. But God Ministries working its way by our location on Court Street as part of the Firemen's 4th Parade. And these folks may have set a record for participation this year because there have been a lot that have come by our location already. And there is still more to come, although we seem to be getting to near the end of the But God group. And there have certainly been hundreds of them who have been by our location. If you tuned in a little bit late, we're about 20 minutes or so into this thing now, and we saw the Huntsville mayor, the Boy Scouts, we saw the sheriff, we've seen Hellenwood Baptist Church, and I think and we've seen Huntsville Fire Department. Everybody else has been But God Army, probably at least 300, maybe 400 members strong that have come by our location and continue to come by our location. And again, let me remind you, if you are new to the area, and because we have talked to several people out here today who are new, and this is their first time coming to the Firemen's 4th Festival, the annual fireworks display is the highlight of this festival, and it will begin at 10 p.m. tonight, just about 2.5 hours from right now. So still a lot to come between now and the end of this festival. If you are wondering, should you come out to the downtown Huntsville area to enjoy the fireworks? Absolutely you should. It's the biggest fireworks show that you're going to find anywhere in the region, anywhere in the North Cumberland region. It will be taking place right here in downtown Huntsville. The actual staging area for the Huntsville Fire Department is on the football field, Jackie N. Diggs Field at Huntsville Middle School. That's where they'll set this thing off at, and from that vantage point, you can see the fireworks literally all over the downtown Huntsville area. There's not a bad vantage point to watch them from. You don't have to have a parking spot down here on the mall or around the mall. You can be parked at White Rock Baptist Church on the west end of town. You can be parked at anywhere along the highway on the east end of town, all the way to the Capitol Hill or the Annandale intersection. Plenty of spots to get a spot to watch these fireworks. Curtis Bruce, candidate for 3rd District Scott County School Board Representative, will be the next entry past our location as part of this Fireman's 4th Parade. You're going to see Mr. Bruce riding in the back of this pickup truck. There he is. And while we've got this lull here, let me one more time run down our sponsors who are helping us bring you live coverage of the Firemen's 4th Festival, and they include Scott Appalachian Industries, First National Bank, Twin K Enterprises, South Fork Physical Therapy, Danny's Drugs, the Stand Coalition, El Rey, McDonald's of Oneida, Scott County Mayor Jared Jeffers, Scott County Assessor of Property Tiffany Jeffers, Scott County Sheriff Brian Keaton, Scott County Trustee Renee Irwin, and Scott County Clerk Felicia Bilbrey as Pappy's Peddlers Mall makes their way past our location. And behind them, one of those Firemen's 4th pageant queens that we told you about. And this will be Miss Haslin Jo Hurston, the 0 to 18 month winner. Behind her is the 2023 Miss Scott County Fairest of the Fair, Marley Strunk. And behind Marley will be the 2023 Miss Scott County Preteen Fairest of the Fair, Lauren Reynolds. Marley is a graduate of Oneida High School. Lauren is a upcoming sophomore at Scott High School. More pageant winners from last year's Scott County Fairs to the Fair pageant. This is Carson Smith. Behind her is going to be Denver King. She was the Little Miss Tiny Tot winner a year ago. She's going to be on the left or on the far side on top of that Jeep Wrangler. And behind her will be Hazelyn Miller, the Miss Tiny Tot Junior Fairest to the Fair from 2023. And by the way, the 2024 Scott County Fair just around the corner in about 1 month at the Scott County Fairgrounds on Stanley Street in Oneida. And if you are interested in being a part of those pageants that are the highlight of the fair each year, the Fairest of the Fair Committee is currently accepting applications. You can find those folks on Facebook. That's Paisley Garrett, the Fireman's 4th Queen, one of the Fireman's 4th Queens. And behind her, Sweet Grace Creations and Boutique. This is former Scott County Commissioner, Winfield Alderman Harold Chambers, and his classic auto. We got several classic autos, and behind them a couple of side-by-sides. We've seen a lot of side-by-sides in this parade already. That is, of course, because Scott County is the ATV capital of at least East Tennessee. Huntsville, maybe, who knows, maybe the entire Southeast. There are a lot of places these days to ride ATVs, but this is kind of where it all got started, right? Brimstone Recreation on the North Cumberland Wildlife Management Area. Here is Scott County General Sessions Judge Scarlett Ellis making her way by our location now. First ever woman judge in Scott County, Miss Ellis, Judge Ellis, I should say. And behind her is Carlene Jeffers Terry. She is running for re-election as school board member in the 2nd District. More classic autos making their way by us now, and behind them is going to be one of the staples in this Fireman's 4th Parade every single year, and that is the Sharp family float. For as long as I've been around anyway, and probably for a long time before that, the Sharp family has been a mainstay in this parade year in and year out. Of course, the Sharps, one of the prominent families in Huntsville now, and for a long time before, all the way back to the earliest days of the town of Huntsville. This is the Sharp family. Now we've got some Jeeps and off-road vehicles, and once they have made their way by our location, I think the next float that we will see will be the float that the Washam family enters each year in memory of Marine Corporal Rusty Washam. Corporal Washam, of course, lost his life in action in Iraq on February the 14th, 2006. You will see that float coming up here momentarily. If you are watching and you tuned in late, we are aware that we're having some lagging issues, and I know a lot of folks have reached out to make us aware of that. Some folks have offered their assistance. Highland Telephone kindly and graciously has reached out and offered some assistance as well. It's hard to make those changes in the middle of things here, so we will not be able to do that. We're at this point filming for playback purposes, so just as soon as this parade is over, if you happen to be with us right now, when this parade is over, we're going to get this thing uploaded. Hopefully, if we're able to do that on a cellular connection, and we'll get this thing up on social media so you'll be able to watch it without interruption. And this is the parade float honoring Corporal Rusty Washam. More of the Washam clan making their way by our location. And behind them, we're going to have another pageant winner. This is going to be another one of our Firemen's 4th pageant winners. And this is going to be Ruthie Clark, I'm sorry. And I believe that young lady is from Jamestown, if I'm not mistaken. Behind her, the 2024 Firemen's 4th Teen Queen, Alexis Montgomery. And another pageant winner making their way by our location now. This will be Ariana Terry, another one of the Firemen's 4th pageant winners. Next up will be the re-election campaign of Scott County Assessor of Property, Tiffany Jeffers, who, by the way, is another one of our sponsors of our coverage here tonight. And with that, let me tell you who the rest of our sponsors are. First National Bank, Scott Appalachian Industries, Twin K Enterprises, South Fork Physical Therapy, Danny's Drugs, the Stand Coalition, El Rey, McDonald's of Oneida, Scott County Mayor Jared Jeffers, Scott County Assessor of Property, Tiffany Jeffers, making our way by us now. Scott County Sheriff Brian Keaton, Scott County Trustee Renee Irwin, and Scott County Clerk Felicia Bilberry. We certainly appreciate all of those folks. Without them, everything that we do, not just at this festival, but our community coverage throughout the year, would not be possible. And if you can see sitting on the back of this Ford F-150 pickup, this is Miss Tiffany Jeffers coming by our location now. More political candidates to come following the campaign of Tiffany Jeffers for Assessor of Property will be the campaign of Chris Shelton. Chris Shelton is a candidate for representative of the 3rd District on the Scott County Board of Education. And behind the Chris Shelton entry will be West Ready Mix. Reminder, if you are watching with us right now, we will be taking a break at the conclusion of this parade, jumping in the air conditioner for just a few minutes, refreshing ourselves, and then getting ready for fireworks a little bit later on. Fireworks will begin right at 10 o'clock tonight, and that is when our coverage will resume once we are finished with our parade coverage, which should be in another probably 10 to 15 minutes. Right now, coming up before us is going to be the Firemen's 4th Ambassador, Queen Miss Shaylee Hodges. And behind Shaylee will be a float entered by Bear Mountain Sales. You've seen their signs up around the community. These folks are barn builders making a concerted effort to market here in the Scott County area. And then behind them will be the Scott County Rescue Squad. And as the rescue squad makes its way by our location, let's commend these folks for the job that they have done. They've been really busy the last few days. Of course, everybody knows about the search of the missing couple from Robbins in the Brimstone area that went on for several days and ended successfully yesterday. What a story and what a miracle that was. I know a lot of folks were praying and a lot of folks were hoping for a successful outcome in that search, but I'm not sure a whole lot of folks really deep down expected it. But a successful outcome is exactly what they got, as Larry West and his wife June were discovered alive and for the most part okay yesterday. Miss June was airlifted to a hospital in Knoxville for some additional treatment, but Larry is fine. June will be fine. And what a remarkable outcome, and just a lot of work that went into that, not only by the rescue squad, but the Scott County Sheriff's Office, some agencies from Morgan County, and a whole lot of folks. And then the rescue squad was busy earlier today on a mission as well. They had a major injury that they had to deal with a little bit earlier this afternoon. Those folks are all volunteers, and when they're called into action, they give up their holidays to do it. Another of the mainstays in this parade, the Chambers family. These are the descendants, the children, the grandchildren of former Scott County, the late Scott County School Board Representative J.D. Chambers from Robbins. And behind them, Have Garbage Will Travel, which is the Christ family and also a part of the Chambers family. Hey, we're back, I think, and I hope. A momentary issue there. My camera overheated, can you believe it or not? And thank the good Lord above that these things are waterproof, because I just grabbed a bottle of cold water and doused it. And that's cooled it down a little bit just in time to see the Oneida Fire Department making its way by us. You didn't miss a lot in the short time that we were away. Just a few emergency vehicles, the various fire departments around Scott County. This is Oneida Fire Department now, and behind them will be Twin K Enterprises. So obviously this broadcast has been a little bit of a disaster, a combination of cellular connectivity and the heat. And both of those things, unfortunately, we have dealt with in the past here at the Firemen's 4th Festival. You just never know. But we'll get this spliced together and get it uploaded once this parade is complete, so that you can watch if you weren't able to make it out tonight. And also because our sponsors certainly put some effort into helping us bring this coverage to you, and we want to fulfill our obligation from that perspective. This is the South Scott County Volunteer Fire Department from Robbins, now making its way by our location. And behind South Scott, I think will be Winfield Fire Department. One more time, as hopefully we're going to, from a temperature perspective, we're going to hold out until this parade is finished. One more time, our sponsors: First National Bank of Oneida, Twin K Enterprises, Southport Physical Therapy, Scott Appalachian Industries, Danny's Drugs, the Stan Coalition, El Rey, McDonald's of Oneida, Scott County Mayor Jerry Jeffers, Scott County Assessor of Property Tiffany Jeffers, Scott County Sheriff Brian Keaton, Scott County Trustee Renee Irwin, and Scott County Clerk Felicia Bilberry. A few more pageant winners now making their way by our location. Last in this line is going to be Destiny Burke, who was second runner-up in the 13 to 15 age group from the Firemen's 4th pageant. We are almost into wind-down mode for this annual Firemen's 4th parade. Most of the entries have made their way by our location. A lot of them have already circled the mall, have re-entered the highway as they head further west along Baker Highway to Bird's Curve, where this thing will disband. This is Pioneer Groundworks. And behind Pioneer Groundworks is going to be the 7th District Fire Department from West Oneida. And behind 7th District Fire Department will be Grace Rehabilitation Center. I don't know what the record is for number of entries in this parade or the number of floats in this parade, but I do believe that we have seen more of both this year than we have seen probably in quite some time, both total number of entries and also the number of specialized floats that are in this parade. As again, this is going to be Grace Rehabilitation Center. And behind Grace Rehab will be the Mid-County Volunteer Fire Department. And as Mid-County Volunteer Fire Department makes its way by, I believe this is going to just about wrap things up here at the annual Firemen's 4th Parade. And as we do begin to wrap up this parade, let me remind you that this festival ain't over yet. There is a lot that will be going on throughout the rest of the evening. And then at 10 o'clock tonight, the largest fireworks display in the region. We always say that, but it always is. And the firefighters from the Huntsville Fire Department do a fantastic job year in and year out putting on that fireworks display. Again, that will start at 10 o'clock tonight, 10 on the dot. We are going to take a break, regroup, hopefully get our cellular connectivity issues solved, and then we will be back at 10 o'clock tonight as this will wrap up the Firemen's 4th Parade. One more time, let me say thank you to our sponsors and also say thank you to you for joining us tonight as well. And our sponsors include First National Bank, Twin K Enterprises, Scott Appalachian Industries, South Fork Physical Therapy, Danny's Drugs, the Stand Coalition, El Rey, McDonald's of Oneida, Scott County Mayor Jared Jeffers, Scott County Assessor of Property Tiffany Jeffers, Scott County Sheriff Brian Keaton, Scott County Trustee Renee Irwin, and Scott County Clerk Felicia Bilberry. That's it for us for now. We will take a break and we will see you again at 10 o'clock this evening for the fireworks, and we hope that you will join us then. Thank you for joining us.
I wanted to continue my education after high school, but my family and I didn't think we could afford it. Then I found out that Roane State has the options to make college possible. Now I'm pursuing my dreams and will make my family and community proud.
I'm Donna Tompkins, and I was a 4th teacher at Oneida Elementary. The mini grant started when I first started teaching, and First National Bank helped me to grow into the teacher that I was and became. It gave me extra money to buy the supplies I needed for my students. First National Bank is truly a community bank. It helps make things possible that may not be possible in our community.
Danny's Drugs has been dedicated to providing patients with quality healthcare services since 1966. From our beginnings as a fountain drugstore to our current location on the 4th Lane in Oneida, one thing has remained the same: exceptional service. Our staff of highly motivated and carefully trained professionals understand your needs and respond to them in a personal and friendly manner. Our staff works together as a team to provide the finest patient care available. That's Danny's Drugs, putting patients first since 1966.
El Rey is Scott County's home for great Mexican flavor. Located in Oneida Plaza, we're just up the sidewalk from Walmart. From our fresh chips that are made daily to our chicken or beef fajitas that are big enough to share, El Rey uses the freshest ingredients to serve authentic Mexican dishes that will be a hit with the entire family. Stop in before the game on Friday, or pop in on Saturday and watch college football on one of nearly a dozen screens while you eat. That's El Rey Azteca, open until 9 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and 10 p.m. on weekends.